In today's cooking video, I want to make, again, pasta fagioli. I say again because I've made it in the past, but I have some reasons to do it again to make a few changes. One is, have you looked at the price of cannellini beans lately? I went to the store and a package about this size, 1.5 pounds, this isn't cannellini beans, $15. But I saw in a store just up the street, Smart and Final, this package for less than half price. I think it was $6.49. These are Mayocoba beans. They're a Peruvian bean. I looked them up online. They're supposed to be tender with a delicate flavor and a good substitute for cannellini beans. I'm going to try it. Another reason why I want to do this is someone saw in one of my videos that I have a pressure cooker. And he asked, can you please do more videos using a pressure cooker? So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use my pressure cooker today. And the way I'm going to use that is to cook the beans. Normally when you work with dry beans, you soak them in water for like 8 hours to get them tender. And then you cook them for 1 to 2 hours until they're cooked tender. You don't need to do that if you have a pressure cooker. I mean, most people will just put the beans in water before they go to bed. When they wake up in the morning, they're ready to cook. That's fine. With a pressure cooker, you can put the dry beans in the pot with the water, bring it up to full pressure, cook it for 20 minutes, let it depressurize naturally. Takes about another 20 minutes. The beans are done. So like in less than an hour, you can save all that time. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to make a traditional, somewhat traditional pasta fazool or pasta fagioli using dry beans. I'm going to use vegetable stock. So for those of you who are vegetarian, this is a good vegetarian dish as well. I'm going to use vegetable stock, but you can use chicken stock or beef stock, whatever you want to use. I'm going to use vegetable stock. And then I'm going to make my broth, my soup base. And then separately, when I'm ready to eat it, I'll be making my pasta, cooking my pasta. So I'll explain all that as we go along. Let's start making pasta fagioli. So what I have here is 2 cups of dry beans. Those are my Mayocoba beans. This weighed 14 ounces, so that's about 400 grams if you're on the metric system. And how I'm going to cook these in my pressure cooker is something called pan-in-pan cooking. So I'm going to put the beans in there. I'm going to add enough water to cover that well. Okay, so there's my beans in water. Now here is my pressure cooker. I'm going to open this up. I bought a little rack. It's actually a cooling rack, but it fits inside of my pressure cooker perfectly. This, by the way, is a Kuhn Racone. It's called a Duromatic. Rather expensive. They're up over $200, but all the important parts are stainless steel. The last pressure cooker I had failed after I used it a dozen times. It was a cheap one that I bought at Costco. Okay, so I put my rack in there. I'm going to put some water in the bottom, just enough so that I got water going in there. And then I'm going to put my beans in there. Kind of a tight fit, but it'll go in there. Okay, put my lid on. Get that lined up right. There it goes. And then I'm going to heat this on the stove up to boiling. And as it starts to boil, this little thing here starts to come up. And when 2 red lines are exposed, like that, that means it's up to full pressure. Then I can turn the heat down just enough to maintain that pressure. I'll watch it closely. I'll check it every 2 or 3 minutes and make sure that the indicator is where it belongs. And I'm going to cook these for 20 minutes at high pressure. Then I'll turn the heat off and let that depressurize naturally. For my soup base, I'm going to be using vegetable stock. I bought some of this, a 3 packages of this at the store. I need about 6 to 7 cups, which is about 1.42 to 1.66 liters of stock. I'm using vegetable stock. If you like, you can use chicken stock. I have a lot of stock in my freezer from scraps that I save, like chicken trim. But I'm going to use store-bought because this is easier, and the whole focus behind this is make it easy so people don't have to go through all the work of making their own stock. And I'm going to make my soup base in a different pot. This is my old pressure cooker, the one that failed. Look at that color. Nice dark color. I'm using 2 boxes because each of these boxes contains just under 4 cups, maybe 900 milliliters. The box is listed as 32 ounces. It's by weight, or 2 pounds, 907 grams. So I'm using a little bit more than I need, but that's all right. I have plenty of soup for winter. What I have here is 1 can of tomato paste. This is a 6-ounce can of tomato paste, which is 170 grams. And I loosened both the bottom and the top. And then I can just kind of shake this down and let all the tomato paste fall into the pan. You can see it's coming out. It's getting there. There it goes. There it is. That's my tomato paste. I have a medium onion here that I'm going to use in my pasta fagioli. This is optional. Jake, you can skip this part. Jake is a fan of my website and my cooking videos. He's been watching my videos for 7 years, and he's an accomplished cook himself. And he says, how many times do I need to watch you chop up an onion? So he skips around because he knows what he's doing. But I always show people what I do because some people are not accomplished cooks and maybe they want to learn something new. Okay, and that is how I chop onions. I don't do it the way Jake and others do, where they cut through it and then they cut toward their fingers. Ooh, this is a sharp knife. I don't like doing that. Cutting toward my fingers. To me, a cutting board is designed to take the blade. So, I quarter the onion first, always going down to the cutting board. Then, bring the 2 halves together, cut through, never risking my fingers. And there's my chopped onion. You need 2 to 3 cloves of garlic. I'm at the very end of my garlic bulb. So there's 2 regular size cloves and 3 more that were inside. I'm going to use up the last of it and then buy some more. And I've got a garlic press here. I can squeeze these into my pot. Get that moved over, move this over. Then squeeze those in there like that. Drop them in, and then do the rest of these. I mean, what would Italian soup be without a little bit of garlic? Now, some seasoning I'm going to put in this. I'm putting some oregano in there, maybe half a teaspoon, a little bit in the palm of my hand. I'm going to put some basil. I'm using dry. If you have fresh, that's even better. I do have fresh, but I'm doing things for convenience today. Fresh basil, dry basil. If you like things hot, you can use crushed chilies, red pepper flakes. I'm not going to do it that way, but I am going to grind some black pepper in there. And I'm not going to add salt yet. I know it needs it because I tasted this broth and it has a very delicate flavor, almost of roasted vegetables. I'm going to wait until later to add salt. If I can, I like to salt my food at the table because I don't like a lot of salt in my food. This is ready to bring to a boil, and I'm going to cook this until those onions are really tender, 10 to 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes. And then I'll start adjusting for flavor afterwards. If you want to ramp up that vegetable flavor, you could, and I might do this because I've got some. You could add some vegetable bouillon to this. That's my beans. They're done. So now I just turned off the heat on that. Meanwhile, my soup base has come up to the boil. So while the beans are now depressurizing, I can cook the soup. I turn the heat off, turn the heat down under the soup stock. I just need to simmer that for, like I said, 10, 15 minutes. I'll do that while the beans are depressurizing. And then I'll be ready to cook some pasta, and I can taste a bowl of my pasta fagioli. Let's talk about pasta. I'm going to be using small shells. The traditional pasta for pasta fagioli is tubetti or tubettini, which are little tubes. Those are not always easy to find in the store, but a lot of stores sell something called salad pasta, which are little short tubes. They're a little bit wider, I think, than tubettini or tubetti, but they'll work. You can use any pasta you want. You can use elbow macaroni if you want. I wouldn't use like lasagna noodles, but you can use small pasta. There's a lot of different kinds of small pasta that you can use in soup. I'm going to use these. And what I'm going to do, how I'm going to do my pasta fagioli is I'm going to portion my soup base into 1 cup amounts in little plastic bags. I'll portion it, freeze it, and then when I want soup, I'll take out one of those, heat it up in a pan to melt it. Meanwhile, I'm going to cook a small amount of pasta in a little pan for myself. And then once the pasta is cooked and drained, I'll add the melted and heated, warmed up soup base, and that'll be my pasta fagioli. I want you to see my impulse heat sealer, because once you have one, you can use it a lot of different ways. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open my package by just snipping a corner off, and I'm going to take out a small amount for myself, like half a cup. Could have made that hole a little bit bigger, but that'll be all right. Okay, I'm going to cook that up according to package directions. But now watch this. I'm going to lay this on my impulse heat sealer where that hole is cut. Press down. You can hear it click when it means it's done sealing. And there it is. It's heat sealed. Ain't no more gonna come out because it's heat sealed. And that's all this package is anyways. It's heat sealed on the ends. So if you got an impulse heat sealer, you just find a lot of convenient ways to use it. Now, I'm going to open this up. You want to be careful opening these things. There's no pressure in there, but you got a lot of steam. I don't want to be scalded, and I don't want to fog my camera lens. So let the steam out. Whoa. And there are my beans inside. Now that's a little bit tricky to get out, and I don't have a handle. I need to make a handle that I can get that with. Maybe I can do it with these. It's kind of tight, so you can't really get in there all that well. But there comes my bowl out. I'm going to grab it where the rings are so I can get a better grip. There we go. Hold on tight. Lift that out. Bring it over. Okay, look at that. Can set this aside. So there are my beans. These silicone gloves, by the way, are great because you can not only grab something that's hot, but if you get your fingers down in the hot water, it's not going to matter because they're also waterproof. Okay, so what I need to do is put a colander in my sink, and I'm going to drain these, and then I can add these to my pot of soup. So there are my beans. I want to taste these because I've never had these beans before. Just get a few of them using my red handle tasting spoon, which means once it's been in my mouth, it doesn't go in the pot. How tender are these? They look tender. Let's see what I got here. Oh yeah. Yeah. Those are wonderfully tender. Okay, so now what I'm doing is I have my pasta cooking on the stove. That'll be done in 6 to 8 minutes. Timer says 6 minutes is left. I'm going to add these to my soup base for my pasta fagioli. So there is my cooked and drained macaroni. Put that aside. Here is my bean soup. Oh gosh, that looks good. Nice dark color. Oh, that looks good. I know it's going to need a little bit of salt, so I'm just going to salt that now because I cook with very little salt. I have my spoon ready. I'm going to taste my pasta fagioli. So there is my bowl of pasta fagioli. Oh, that looks good. I want to taste my soup first. You could garnish this with a little bit of Romano or Parmesan cheese if you want. See if I have enough salt in there. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's perfect. Get some of my beans and some of my pasta. I love pasta fagioli. That is wonderful. Oh, that is good. Winter is coming. It's going to be soup time soon. This is comfort food. This is my Grampy's pasta fagioli without all the pork fat in it. So, excuse me, I'm going to go enjoy my lunch of pasta fagioli, or otherwise known as pasta fazool. To view the recipe and download a PDF version with step-by-step photographs, click the Jump to Recipe icon in the lower right corner or visit my website, mobilehomegourmet.com.